just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another Pack Her Up, boys. And do not forget, so initially we said June 9 that the jumpers, maroon and blue jumpers would drop, and also hats. They will be dropping June 10. They'll be dropping June 10 because that's when the show will be, because it's a public holiday, June 9. So 6 p.m, June 10, the blue jumpers, the blue hats will be dropping, the maroon jumpers, the maroon hats. And I tell you what, when I say these are premium, these are truly, truly premium. These will last forever. They're so comfy. We've never done anything like this before. The hats obviously are awesome too, slick as anything. And listen, if you're a Manly fan and you even want to, you can always say the maroon's Manly. You can always say the maroon's Manly as well. So that'll be Tuesday, June 10th, 6 p.m. dropping. Make sure to be there. Very, very limited numbers. Nowhere near the numbers that we do with jerseys and all that kind of stuff. So if you want your jumper or your hat, please be there, guys, because it's limited numbers. I cannot wait. We've never done anything like this before, but these, I cannot stop wearing it. It's so unbelievably comfy. So comfy. June 10th, 6 p.m. Don't forget as well, DJ Grumpy. If you are somewhere where it's a gym, you want a live event, a run club, a coffee shop, or whatever, a cafe, whatever it is, if you want DJ Grumpy playing tunes for free, totally free, at your establishment, email djgrumpy@grumpycoffee.com.au, and also make sure to grab your Grumpy Coffee, the best coffee in all the land, a beautiful, beautiful blend. You order it, it'll be at your house in 24 to 48 hours. We've got a roastery. We make sure we have the premium, high-quality blends, guys, from start to finish, into the coffee bag, all the way to your house. It is premium. You will not disappoint. We actually have I think it's genuinely a 77% return rate, which is unheard of. That's how good the coffee is. But anyway, Matty, how you been, mate?
I debuted this jumper out of studio last night because those in Sydney know the weather was just insane. You just had to watch the doggy game last night. Oh, I just laid on my couch and put it on. It's so snug and warm, and It's just the best.
It's just cut so well. Even the neck is cut so it slants onto your neck well. It almost, you forget you're wearing it. You forget you're wearing it. It is so good. I will say sizing, go down a size. Matter of fact, you could even go down 2 sizes if you want it because these are made to be bigger. You don't make these jumpers to be tight fitting. Yep. But if you do want it, a normal sizing, go down a size or 2 and you'll be stoked. At the moment, I'm wearing a medium jumper, whereas usually I'm wearing a large or an extra large shirt. So go down a size for sure because they're made to be a bit bigger. As these are always designed to be a bit bigger. You don't make these kind of things if they're not a bit baggy and comfortable. But what's going on, mate?
I'm a bit late on this. I started and finished White Lotus the other day.
Yeah, okay. Season 1 and 2?
No, just season 3. I have to go back.
3. I
have to go back and watch season 1 and 2. Courtney was desperate to watch it, and I know I've only heard good. You've obviously watched it, right? I know I'm very, very late, but man, it was a wild ride. Wild ride that only lasted a few days because I couldn't stop bloody watching it.
Yeah, it's a bloody good show. I will say season 3 was good, but it's not as good as the previous seasons, in my opinion. I
have something to look forward to then.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I like season 2.
Where are the locations in those?
So season 2 is Italy, south of Italy.
That'd be good.
So I like season 2. I think that was really fun, and I think it had probably some of the best writing in regards to some pretty contentious ideas that I really liked. I tell you what is unbelievable. My God, you have to watch Andor if you like any sci-fi fiction, any fantasy or anything like that. You cannot miss Andor. And I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, Denon, who gives a shit about anything Star Wars? Star Wars fell off years ago when Disney bought it. I know what you're thinking. I was there too. I didn't even finish the new, the latest episodes of the Star Wars movies. I didn't watch the last one because I was like, this is fucking terrible stuff. All of the TV series, even Mandalorian got it started okay, solid, but then got bad. All of that has sucked. Andor is some of the best TV you can possibly watch on. It is TV for adults. It's a script for adults. It actually goes into detail about how fascist regimes can take over, and mate, it is so good. And as I cannot convince you enough, it is for adults. It is written for it. Honestly, some adults may not get what's happening. That's honestly, if I'm being totally honest, some adults might just go, I don't understand what's happening, because it's a smart script. It's subtle. It's a bloody good TV series. It's so good. It's so good. Don't get me wrong. It's not crazy smart or anything like that, but it expects you to actually know and understand and listen to what's happening.
Is it Is it just like Star Wars, or is it actually connected?
No, it's in the Star Wars universe,
Right.
but disconnected. But it's the thing of Star Wars is timeless. It has themes that are timeless, like the Empire and fascism and all of these things that, you know, are timeless themes that we deal with as humanity. And so, like, a lot of people see Star Wars almost a little bit childish to a degree. It's not at all. It's almost like saying anime is childish. Like, it's a very basic take. Anime is, because it's a cartoon, doesn't necessarily make something childish. What makes something childish is the themes presented in the story, not the actual presentation of it. And so this one, Andor, is so good. It is so good. So you've got to check it out. The best Star Wars since the original trilogy. Easy. It's even better than the prequels, I think, that came out early 2000s. It's even better than them, in my opinion. It's bloody good TV. Also, guys, don't forget there's still Bloke jerseys available. And also join the Bloke Club. Go to www.bloke.club. Make sure to join. Take you 2 seconds. No strings attached. This month, we're giving away $1,000, but you must be following Luke Camilleri. So go to LDC_01 on Instagram. Give him a follow, and then if you're a part of the Bloke Club and you're following him, you automatically go in the draw to win $1,000. And if you're following him, the pool of potential winners is substantially smaller than the people that are just in the Bloke Club. So get to following, guys. Take you 2 seconds. You go in the draw automatically. And we got some huge plans for the Bloke Club coming up. Cannot wait to reveal it as we grow. The Bloke Club is absolutely massive now. Thank you to everyone's joined, because when you join, you automatically go in the draw to win a Mazda BT50, and that is getting drawn at the end of June. So don't wait any longer. If you've been sitting on the fence, stop sitting on the fence. It's getting the Mazda BT50. One of you lucky people could win a Mazda BT50, and then you can do whatever you like with it. It's yours at the end of June. Make sure to join the Bloke Club. Make sure to give Luke Camilleri a follow. Also, if you're in the market for a car, go into Aspley Mazda or message Luke and say Bloke, and they will give you a special end of financial year price. Already had multiple people buying cars from Luke and message me saying it's the best car experience they've ever had, and I can genuinely promise you that. Last night, huge win for the Dolphins over the Bulldogs, and I think the biggest news is and we'll get to Dolphins fans in regards to that win, but the biggest news, it is firming that Galvin is going to land at the Bulldogs.
Oh, crazy.
I cannot believe that. If you had said to me a few weeks ago that Galvin would be at the Dogs, I would have said there's absolutely no chance. We sat on the DMP and said it's a red herring. And we said it was a bird when it's a fish. That's how little we know. That's how little I know. And then also, you know, the boys are talking about the Roosters. It almost looks like a deal done. Now, the people I've spoken to in the know, the reason why it firmed so quickly, that at least reportedly, I don't know anyone fully close into it, is the Bulldogs have looked at Sexton and said, maybe he's not the guy to take us that next step. Because we've all been talking about him not being re-signed yet and everything. And I think I'd even argue, look, maybe it was done before last night, but I don't think last night did Sexton any favours, unfortunately. They had the same spine as they have for most games. And then for Katoa to come out and just sword, you know, I think Sexton's a good solid 7. I think he's an NRL 7. And I've been a big backer of Sexton for quite a while. Is he a 7 that can win you a comp? Unfortunately, I think at the very least the Bulldogs are sitting there going, maybe not.
See, I think he can win a comp, but the Bulldogs are a team where there's no real superstars in key positions. So if he went to, I guess if Sexton went to a team where he's still a halfback, but there's like, you know, throbbers around him, it's a different story. But the Bulldogs, they're kind of a weird team where a team of stars gets trumped by a star team type situation.
Yeah, I'm not sold that he's a 7 that can win a comp. Maybe he's going to build into that. He's still young, but right now, I think if you actually watch closely, there's a lot of parts of his game where, you know, like his short kicking game is sometimes a bit poor. Some of his decision making can be poor, but he's still super young. Like that's the thing. Like he's so young. Now, in 5 years, could he be potentially a winning, good enough to steer a team around? Absolutely. He's got the potential. Right now, I don't think he's there yet. And I think the Bulldogs have gone, we're ahead of schedule here.
Well, it's funny that you said a few weeks ago, this was said, you'd say you're kidding yourself. I actually think that's right, because I think the Bulldogs are kind of in the same position. It just seems like they've changed their tune a bit that they can win a comp this year, and they've obviously decided, as you said in the last few weeks, that Sexton maybe not the guy for them. So I think no one was wrong a few weeks ago. I just think things have changed, and things change in rugby league all the time.
Yeah, I think that the Bulldogs were looking at Sexton, giving him this season, and that was my, heading into this year, that was my whole argument with Tracy and Sexton, was at least give him this year to prove whether they can be good enough to take him to that next step. And I think the Dogs, if you'd ask a lot of Dogs fans as well, not all of them, but I think they'd say, yeah, there is sometimes where Sexton probably does let this system down to a degree. He's been bloody good to get them where they're at. As I said, I think that Titans were crazy to throw him out the door as quickly as they did. Is he a 7 that can get you into the top 8? Clearly. Absolutely. But I think the Dogs have stepped back and gone, we might win a comp this year. And I don't think they expected that. I think the Dogs were sitting there going last year and the year before with Sexton, well, we've got 2 or 3 years to build with Sexton, to go, okay, we're not going to be ready to win a premiership till 2027. I reckon that was the initial plan. Because you've got to remember this started, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So 27 is when they make their push. So I think their plan was, okay, by 27, Sexton will be good to go. But I think they looked at this year and they've gone, oh my God, we're good to go now. Yeah. But unfortunately, maybe Sexton probably isn't ready yet to take that next step. And I want to be really clear. This is me not... There's a chasm between criticising a bloke and saying he's just maybe not ready to win a premiership. There's the gap between that, the huge gap is he's a bloody good, solid NRL player. Yep. That can potentially develop into a premiership level kind of halfback. But I think that the Dogs have gone, we get Galvin to the club now, this year. He can partner Sexton at the very least this year. You can either move Burton back to centre or 13. Now, a lot of people said the Galvin can move to 13 or back row, or Matt would be 13. I actually think Burton is closer to moving to the back row than Galvin. But also, you can move Burton back into the centres. Now, I know that sucks because you've got Crichton and Sherry, but then you could potentially move Sherry to the wing if you had to. On top of all that, there's even been whispers about Burton back to fullback, which I actually, I'm not convinced fully. Does he have the pace for it? Now, he was a Dally M centre, so maybe he does. He's definitely got the ball playing. He's definitely got the ball running. But that's also something he could do. He's a very versatile player, Burton. And so I think that at least this year, they're looking at it going, listen, if we can move Galvin quickly, all of a sudden, we might become a premiership threat. And also, look, the good thing for Sexton is he can get a contract somewhere else. Because
100%.
There is only... He finds himself in this tough position where he's a part of a squad that could potentially win a comp this year. But there are a lot of other clubs that go, look, we're okay with not winning a comp this year. If we can get a 7 that can get us into the 8, then boom, we're happy. And Sexton absolutely fills that role. He's a bloody good, solid 7 in the NRL. So that's why I think this move has happened, is they've identified that they're a bit ahead of schedule. They can get Galvin now. And that's why I think that it's increased in momentum. And so I'm still a little bit like, okay, like even Sexton, Galvin in the halves, Burton back to 13 or something, it's still okay, are they definitely a premiership threat with that? They're definitely probably a better side, probably. I guess the question is if Sexton does leave, is Mitch Wood ready? Really, the long-term plan for the Bulldogs is Wood, Galvin.
Yeah.
That's the long-term plan. And then Burton either to centre, Burton potentially at fullback, Burton at 13. So that's going to be interesting for them. I just can't believe it's happened. And, we should have known, look, maybe we're wrong, and this is just a massive red herring, all jokes aside, but we should have known as soon as Gus come out aggressively and said no, we should have gone, okay, there's something going on there. Because Gus does that.
He's done it
intentionally to just throw off smoke. Now, I will say, the Eels must be sitting there going,
they'd be shitting bricks.
We have been done a dinner because we've got $1 million sitting in our salary cap. They would have, by all reports, it looked like it was a done deal. I mean, even when you saw Mitch Moses talking about it, it even looked like he was kind of expecting it. He didn't come out and say it, and I'm just speculating, but it kind of looked like he was expecting it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're heading into next year, if this does happen, with no one at 6. Obviously, they've re-signed Volkman, which is a good, solid re-signing. But obviously, you're not paying him $1 million.
Yeah.
And so they're sitting there going, oh, my God, maybe we've been played for a trick here because Yeah, the drums are beating for him to end up at the Bulldogs.
It's wild. Do you reckon, I know they're both sixes, but do you reckon there's any world where it's him and Galvin and Burton in the halves?
No, I don't think so. Like, you've got a decent long kicking game with Burton. I wouldn't say it's on the level of Clear or whatever, but it's a big boot. But your short to mid-range kicking game, you know, Galvin is okay, but nowhere near Sexton. And I just worry, you know, and that's what I'm just still a bit confused about it. Because if Sexton leaves this year, is Wood ready to jump in at the 7? Because Galvin's not a 7 in my opinion. I don't think he's a 7.
Yeah. Well, no matter what the answer is, the question still isn't answered. Where does Burton go? Because I don't like him going to centre. I love Critter and Cherry there. Fullback maybe, lock. I think I'd probably rather him at lock, but I'm not sure.
They haven't really settled on a full-on lock at the moment. Obviously, they got Kurt Mann. They got Salmon plays there sometimes. I could see lock, but then again, that's what weird is like Mitch Wood, this young gun. He's a bloody good player, and look, you got to trust Serraldo knows what he's doing, but we don't know what he's going to be like in NRL. So it is a bit of a risk. Like you are, I tell you what it is. It's a ruthless call with Sexton for sure.
Yeah,
because there's no way Sexton could stay with Mitch Wood coming through, with Galvin coming. I mean, maybe. I'm not sure.
You said it before. I don't think he'll have problems finding a club if he does get shown the door.
Mate, absolutely not. And I think, like, I do agree to a point with your point. If you put him in a team full of superstars and you just say, mate, you know, get us around the park. Like, for example, let's say you just plugged him into the Broncos or something with Esborough and all the stars around him. Like, you know, he'd do a solid job. I just think that, as I said, they're just a bit ahead of schedule. And I think with Sexton, it's going to take a year or two more. Because like we always talk about it, halves don't hit their peak till they're like 27 years old or whatever. When he hits that, it's probably going to be a few years later down the track, and they're just probably just going, look, we're ready to go now potentially. So, but I'm still not fully like it's just going to work. Like it's still surprising that they've gone after Galvin.
Well, because like as we said, the Eels, it seems perfect. Brown's gone, Galvin in. It's simple, but it's a bit of a jigsaw with the doggies.
That's what I mean. Like, you know, you don't want to put Burton, and like you don't want to put his nose out. Maybe he doesn't want to play 13, and I'm assuming he probably would. He seems like a team first player. You know, like, and then you've got Hayward as well. I think Hayward will probably end up in the 9 role potentially, sharing that. I mean, he's already sharing that with, because if you watch a lot of footy, like even against the Raiders, it was when Hayward came on and started giving some really good service to Critter that really opened up the game for it. And so it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. So it's crazy to think that this almost seems like a done deal. Like the amount of people saying it's done is crazy.
And it seems like it's going to happen pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And like when you think about it, what, $160,000 transfer fee for a player of Galvin's skill?
Please.
As a club, that's peanuts.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to pay that.
Yeah.
Any day of the week, $160K to a club that makes $30-40 million revenue is like, whatever.
Well, I think they'd pay that if the doggies were sitting in 9th, but they're coming first and they could win the comp this year. So, of course, they're going to pay that.
I'm still just like unsure of how it all, you know, Burton didn't spend a preseason bulking his body up to be a 13, and maybe you put him back to fullback, but like, geez, is he going to get through the repeat efforts that Connor Tracy gets through? Like, for all the lack of creativity that people say Connor Tracy has, he gets through so much work for them, like so much work. Whereas Burton's not going to be able to do 20, 30 hit-ups a game. So it's like could you imagine he comes in and they start struggling? Like it'll be one of the great all-time, be careful what you got until it's gone kind of thing. You've got this great setup. You're winning the comp right now. You're on top of the table. Yep. Is your key players and key positions superstars? Yep. No. But they got you to here.
Like a shiny toy situation.
Yeah, It was like, Lachie Galvin's on the thing. But I think the last few weeks, that's what's kind of tipped the Bulldogs over and said, you know, maybe Sexton. As I said, I think he's a good solid player. I just don't think he's ready to take a next step into a premiership just yet. But I'm a huge fan of Sexton. And I think that, as I said, like I wish the Titans had kept him. I think that would have been perfect for his development.
Yeah.
It would have been perfect for the club. His development is exactly in line. Move him into the top 8, and then you go from top 8 to top 4, and then top 4 to premiership. By that stage, he's 27, 28 years old. So, yeah, watch this space in regards to Lachie Galvin and where he lands. And, geez, if they can make that work, I mean, he really will add a lot to their attack. Because around the ruck, that is their biggest issue, the Bulldogs, is like they really don't have that much spark when it comes to ball playing from their halves. They've got Burton, who's a bloody good ball runner, and he's got a great bomb, but they rely heavily on a big play from their centres or a bomb from Birdo or Viliami Kickout doing something, on the edge there. Whereas you add Galvin who can create something from nothing around the half spot. That's a scary prospect if you can get it to work.
If it does work, I back that it will. The Doggies fans, he's going to be the most popular player out there. Oh. They're going to get around him so heavily, which is great. Yeah.
Yeah, so crazy to think, man. I definitely thought he was Eels all the way through. Be very interested to see what Eels fans say. I think they'll be a bit frustrated with this whole situation.
Definitely. Yeah.
I would love to know the inner workings of how much he was promised to the Eels, if at all. Like, look, maybe we're just assuming. Maybe it is just because, like, you got to remember there has been no quotes from anyone. Riles has said we're definitely going to go speak to him. But there's been no quote saying that they were promised anything from Galvin's side. There's been no quotes of like, oh, yeah, we've spoken to these managers and he's keen to come. And so I'd love to be a fly on the wall with the Eels right now, thinking they're about to miss out on Galvin, going, how much were they promised him, if at all? If they were promised him, or at least close to promise him or alluded to it, oh, geez, you'd be frustrated. You'd be frustrated.
Bloody oath, especially because, like, what are they going to do now?
The funny thing is like when this all went down, and I was critical of how Galvin and his team handled it from a perspective of could have been handled a little bit better. There were a lot of Para-Eels fans defending Galvin. I wonder if they feel the same way if they're defending him now because of with everything goes down. Not defending the decision to go to Dogs, just the initial situation that happened. In regards to like, look, morals or ethics and all that aside, and you're just looking at purely ruthless business. Mate, Isaac Moses.
Big win. Huge win.
Mate, he has gone in there and played the Tigers like a fiddle. Like, they walked straight into the trap. And this is hindsight speaking, because we were all sitting here saying, good on the Tigers for being strong. Good on them for putting that statement out and being strong and saying we're not going to be pushed around and blah, blah, blah. They walked straight into the trap. As soon as they sent that statement out, he just went, thank you.
Yep.
And then all the other stuff happened. He just went, thank you.
Yep.
And as I said, it's hindsight speaking because I didn't see it at the time. I thought it was smart for the Tigers to get out in front of it. The last thing you want is it beginning to leak about, this young rookie thinks, that the coach is not good and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, when it comes to getting what you want, he has nailed it. Yep. He's got this guy out a year and a half early from his contract.
And like, we see it now. It's just untenable. The Tigers have to let him go. So they've absolutely got what they want.
They've walked into it.
Exactly.
They could have, if they were, and again, this is me speaking hindsight. Now we have all this new information. If they had just stayed super silent and just waited till November 1 to let everyone know that he's going to the open market, there would be no ammo to agitate to get out. How would they get out? At the moment, they've got all this like legal letters going on. They've got all these headlines and everything to use as leverage. What leverage would they have to get out early if the Tigers just went, oh, you don't want to re-sign anywhere? That's totally fine, mate. Don't worry about it. All good. You can negotiate with someone November 1. What leverage could you use?
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
Literally none. But, mate, as I said, take ethics, take morals or whatever. When it's just ruthless business, he has nailed it. With the Tigers going forward, look, the good thing is talk about Reynolds potentially going to the Tigers. I can totally understand why Reno, look, if they're going to offer him $700,000 a year for a 2-year deal, I don't mind Luai, Reno. Yeah. Luai gets back to playing 6. Reno, just get him around the park. Galvin's a really good rookie 6, but there's one origin level 6, and that's Luai. There's an argument made that team gets better with Reno and Luai in the halves.
I think that they're a perfect combination, really. Yeah, they complement each other well.
And that's what I mean. Like, all of a sudden, as long as Reno stays injury-free, let's say you've got those two Tigers team and one is Galvin Luai versus Luai Reno. I'm backing Luai Reno to win that game.
Oh, absolutely.
And so all of a sudden the Tigers, they could come out of this better with Reno at the club Latu Fainu gets to learn off Renault and Luai. Like, think about that's some of the best mentors you can get.
Yeah.
You got Luai that is just he's a chameleon. He can play any position in the halves or whatever he needs to do. But he's also an out and out gun 6, which Fainu can learn off. And then you've got Renault, who is one of the best structured 7s in the competition. And Latu Fainu, he's only 19. So Renault's gone by the time Fainu's 21. And I know that's frustrating to wait and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, if they can communicate very strongly with Latu, you are next man up. This is the plan. You're going to be, maybe he comes off the bench for a little bit or whatever, but in 2 years' time, it'll be your team. You'll be working with Luai and you'll be together for the next 5 years. I see that as a pretty, to expect a 19-year-old to come in and be able to steer the ship or be a 6. Lachlan Galvin is a rare breed. And look, I think Latu could do it, but I don't think it's always the best for their development to get in that early and do it. And so, I know a lot of people go, we're worried about losing guys like Fainu. First of all, I think Fainu would be on a decent wicket because you're not paying Renault $1 million. So you're probably paying Fainu, probably $400 or $500K a year. I think he'd be patient enough to stay. And also, what other club is going to say to Fainu, you're going to come to our club and be the starting 6 and here's a bigger contract?
Yeah.
I don't think there'd be a lot of other clubs that would take Fainu as their next up 7 or 6 for sure. He's a gun, but that would just be in the same position as he's in right now. And so I think that I can see a world where Fainu goes, okay, yep, a little bit frustrating. I felt like I was going to be next up, but I am going to learn off 2 of the best in the competition, and it is definitely only a 2 year. There's no one that expects Renault to go longer than 2 more years. And so I don't mind it.
Yeah, I'm just guessing, but the Tigers would surely be looking after those Fainu brothers. You'd
have to.
They'd be looking after them real well. So you'd hope so. Do you reckon that'll happen though? Reynolds to the Tigers?
I reckon it will.
Really?
Yeah, mate. $750,000 a year for 2 years. Where at the Broncos, he gets a 1 year deal and it's $400K or whatever. On top of that, you get promised a coaching role, but what if you get brushed in a year as a coaching role?
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? What if you get moved on or, whereas Renault's going to get a coaching role regardless of which club he plays at. If he plays at the Tigers, they'll give him a gig. Or even if he plays at the Tigers, he can get a gig at another place.
Yeah, you're right. He won't be short of offers.
Yeah, he'll have offers and opportunities. So you're basically saying, Renault, take $1 million pay cut because that's what it is. It's 1 year worth $400K from the Broncos or $750K a year for 2 years from the Tigers. That's $1 million difference.
True. And also, he's never going to make this money ever again. So,
it's the end of his career. On top of all that, people think that Renault's been on this big wicket his whole career. He hasn't.
Yeah.
He's been on good money, but not money that sets you up where you get to just quit. But I tell you what would help him do that is an extra $1 million to be able to buy a house or something like that. And then he can, what I mean? That $1 million is definitely life-changing for Reynolds because it could be just enough of an investment on everything else he's done to go, okay, now I can actually do what I want after rugby league. So I don't blame him whatsoever. I totally understand.
Well, until this conversation, I read the articles and kind of brushed it off. I just didn't think it happened, but I hope it does. I'd love to see the Reynolds at the Tigers.
I'd love it as well. Renault, Luai, and as a Bronco, it sucks. You want to see him going around for us again, but I can't begrudge Renault that. It's $1.5 million. He took us to a grand final, and look, maybe it won't happen, but I'd actually think it's much more likely of happening than people think.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
To suggest a guy is going to say no to $1 million extra, $1 million, and I know it's. After tax, it's only bloody $600K, $700K. That's still so much money. That's a whole house.
You get desensitized to it when you're talking about footy players and all this, but when you really think about it,
mate, that's a house.
Yeah, it's an absurd amount of money.
Let's say, okay, you go out and buy $1 million house, a house worth $1 million, and you charge $800 a week rent. That's $800 a week in your bank account for nothing because you own that house now, and also you have equity in that house where you can get a loan off it. Money makes more money. And that's not even including all the other money he saved up. So, I'd understand if he did. Now, before we get into the Dolphins, give us a follow on the Sportsbet feed. Got some great bets on my feed right now. You can copy. Got some great bets. I'll just get them up here. Give us a follow on the feed, guys. The feed's going absolutely nuts at the moment. Nearly at 30,000, at 27,500 followers. I'm only following one person, which is the great Hammy. I've gone the underdog. multi. So I've gone Eels, Knights, Roosters, Raiders. And look, if you were just to say, who am I tipping? Obviously, for example, Roosters versus Sharks, I'm tipping Sharks. But for value in this multi, guess what? Guess what tipping Eels, Knights, Roosters, and Raiders gets you? $50.
Wow, okay.
Like on an Origin round, you don't know what's going to happen.
I remember thinking last year, when it's bye round, just do the opposite of what you think.
Yeah. And look, granted, the Sharks haven't lost anyone. So that's my biggest worry is the Sharks one.
I reckon that's going to be a better game than people are saying because I think the Sharks will still win. I know the Roosters have lost a lot of forwards, but Teddy can win a game by himself, and I reckon he'll be burning that he missed that team.
So I've got that. That's 50. I've got Manly Seagulls 1 to 12. I've got Tommy Turbo 2 or more. I think you'll get 2 or more. I think I've got James Tedesco, anytime try scorer, and Cam McInnes, anytime try scorer, $27. So I've got a bunch of bets, guys. I've got Origin bets on there as well. Give us a follow on the feed. You can copy them straight up, get around it, and always a massive thank you to Sportsbet. They're actually the support they have shown us, guys, I cannot express how important they are as a partner. And that, we've gone to strength this year. Like, our average downloads per month now are 1.1 million per month. Last year, it would be like 800,000.
Yeah.
We have just gone completely exploded in numbers, guys, and that's all thanks to partners like Menulog, partners like KO, and partners like Sportsbet. So a massive thank you. Get around them because they get around us. This would not exist if we didn't have our sponsors. Okay, now onto the Dolphins and the Bulldogs game. What a win from the Dolphins. I think what the most surprising thing with the Dolphins is how upskilled Wolfie has done. And what I mean by that is yes, okay, do they play 80 minutes of footy regularly? No, that's probably, they're struggling at the moment for consistency. But I just think when they're playing their best footy, I didn't think that they could play that good of footy. I think that at their best before the season started, I'm at their best, they could fight for a top 8 spot. Did I think that they could put teams to the sword the way they have top-tier sides? Katoa has beaten, and I know Penrith are struggling, but Katoa has beaten Penrith, Melbourne, and the Bulldogs this year. Mm. And that's what surprised, those offloads in the rain. And so if they can just get it together, if they can just get that consistency going week on, week out, and I know a lot of people will go, the Bulldogs are missing all these players. Well, it's not like the Dolphins aren't missing players. Dolphins are missing some players as
Hammer
well.
and Gilbert.
Hammett, Gilbert, Flegler, was Jerry Marshall King. And I know you could go, well, the Doggies are missing more, but we're talking about the number one side in the comp versus a team that was sitting 14th or something. It was such a good win from them. And I just, I know on the ladder, they're not blowing the world apart or anything.
And I know, and they're not, but that's because they started the year, that round one, they were shocking round one, but they did have, I guess they had kind of an excuse with the whole cyclone thing. Round 2, they were really bad against Newcastle. But then round 3, so they lost the first 4 games, and the 4th game against Broncos, they're actually all right.
Yeah.
But since then, they've been quite good.
And that's what I don't think Wolfie's getting enough credit here. They're in a fight for the 8 now. Winning that game, and that's why I said before the game, it's such an important win for them to get. Oh, what about Guru getting the $11.50?
Oh, that pissed me off last night. Yeah.
What about how everyone's just copying my style now? Everyone, because it's not about tipping anymore.
No.
The face of music is not about tipping. It's about going risk versus reward. For example, let's say he doesn't get that $11.50 and he did what we did. He's risking $2.
Yeah, I know.
Who gives a shit? And so, anyway, that it really is just about getting lucky. That's all it is.
Well, of course, yeah.
Whereas tipping back in last year was genuinely about tipping the right
the right team.
But yeah, he nailed it. He absolutely nailed the big Roo. But yeah, really, really good win from the Dolphins, and just some Ray Stone playing with 2 AC joints, both AC joints sprained, which usually take 2 or 4 weeks out of the game, getting needled up before the game for both shoulders.
That's off its head.
Both shoulders with AC sprains that usually take up to 4 weeks out of the game, and he's still playing because they're down on troops. Just insane. Herbie Farnworth in hospital for 2 days. Donahue breaks his nose, puts it back in place, goes out and scores a try.
And saved a try as well.
The crazy thing is the Dolphins don't get enough credit for is they're a tough side.
Yeah.
They are a bloody tough side. And I think Wolfie, so far for me, it's a tick. Because I just think the start of the year, everything just went wrong for them. If you just gave them 1 win from the start of the year, they're in the 8 right now. And I know that's a lot of what if maybes, but they were so poor at the start of the year That it's almost like, for example, it's almost like the Eels, for example. The Eels are not the side that they were at the start of the season.
I think it's the exact same. And it may not be a coincidence that they're the only two fresh new coaches in the NRL.
Yeah. And so I think Wolfie's been good. I think, like, look at Katoa.
Oh,
Look how good he is.
He's so good.
He's 21. He's 21 and he's just gone down. And that's why, like, I was talking earlier about Galvin going to the Dogs or whatever. Like, mate, he's just taken the Dogs, who had the same spine as they always have, and put it this way. And Dave Riccio on the Morning Glory this morning made a great point. Put Katoa in the Bulldogs side, and I reckon the Bulldogs win by 40. Like, if last night, if you took Katoa, put him in the Bulldogs side, I reckon they're the ones that's how influential he is on games. The first game, he just pinged him into the corner all day. Just his kicking game. He's the first. You know, there's one thing that I think even a lot of Polynesian fans, and I say this respectfully, but a lot of Polynesian fans always would be like, we have such athletic players coming to the game. As soon as we get a young Polynesian boy that gets an open or girl that gets the same training and teaching as all the other Aussie boys and that, we're going to be unstoppable. And that's what Katoa is. He's got the same training. He came through the best system in the competition, in the halves. And we all of a sudden have this super athlete with the ball playing of our best young talent that come through the grades. And all of a sudden, Tonga have one of the best sevens in the comp coming through. Think about how scary that is. Tonga have always had the forwards. They've always had the outside backs. The one thing that they've lacked is ball playing seven or maybe even nines at times. Now, all of a sudden, they've got all the talent plus the best young seven in the competition.
They
will win a World Cup.
And that's what I was going to get to. I'll be honest, my whole life, like I'll be so nervous for Origin, I'm so nervous for South games, but I've never really given international footy a thought. Yep. Like I don't care about it as much as the other two. And that's purely because Australia just dominate. And sometimes there's really good Australia versus New Zealand games and very, very occasionally Australia versus England games. But then in the last World Cup, before last World Cup, when Tonga started, that's when everything kind of started. Then Samoa, the last World Cup. This World Cup that's coming up, is it next year, 2026, I think? It is going to be unmissable.
I reckon that Tonga will win a major trophy in the next 5 years. They'll win a major trophy, whatever it is, Pacific Champs or whatever it is. Because as I said, like, you know, that's the one thing, like, if they, like, let's say you're a young fella that you move over from Samoa when you're 12 or 13 or whatever, you haven't had the same opportunity as an Australian kid that's been in systems since he was 6 years old. And when I say systems, I mean, you know, a local league where there's all these training, you're against the best, or if you're a young Tongan boy or girl that comes over when they're, you know, even if you're a Kiwi boy or girl, like the rugby league being played at a junior level there, it's not as expansive as Australia because it's a bigger country with more resources. And that's the thing with Katoa. You've finally got this, you know, the incredible Tongan genetics mixed in with the smarts of Katoa, who's a super smart boy, or young man, I should say, with the same resources as all the other Aussie kids. And it's no fault on the Aussie kids at all. Like, I'm an Australian myself. It's just a matter of luck of where you're born.
Yeah.
And so we're going to start to see more of this. These young Polynesian kids that are getting put into systems earlier, get the same opportunities. It's just going to happen. It's just the way it is. Because you got to remember, like 20, 30 years ago, you go look at those sides, like there wasn't Polynesians all throughout the sides. Now there are Polynesians, and that's because they're getting the same training and resources put in, and they're all on an even playing field now when they all grow up as 6-year-olds in Australia. And so the best are rising to the top. And that's what's so impressive about Isaiah Katoa is you've got this really young, smart fella with like a really intelligent young kid with the genetics that are just like, you know, made for rugby league, mixed in with the same resources as all the other Aussie kids. That's a scary prospect.
Remember when you interviewed him, I think it was the start of last year, the Dolphins.
Might have been 2 years ago.
Could have been 2 years ago. It was before the Dolphins even came in.
Yep.
The season launch. And he was like, he would have been 18 at the time. He was just the most impressive, intelligent kid you've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, like, you know, it's just the thing is like, you know, Tonga and Samoa and the Kiwis, like they've always had this talent, like intelligent young kids with incredible physical abilities, but some of them just haven't been given the same opportunities because just the way the world works in regards to like they weren't born here. Whereas as Australia becomes more multicultural and these kids are born in Australia, they get the same opportunities. They get the same opportunities. And so that's what's so exciting about this is that maybe this is, and like as an Aussie, selfishly, you could sit there and go, oh, I don't want Tonga to beat Australia. And obviously I don't want Tonga to beat Australia. But the beauty of this multicultural explosion in this country, and especially the Polynesian influence in the game now, is that is the next step for the rugby league. That there's no rugby, the world, we won't grow on the world stage until Samoa, Fiji, and Tonga and PNG become competitive on the world stage. And so it's going to take Tonga winning a major trophy, Samoa win a major trophy to take that next step. Look how much impact it just had Samoa making a World Cup.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of impact that had. Tonga all those years ago. And what's like brilliant about this, and maybe it would have happened anyway, but does Katoa choose Tonga if all those years ago Taumalolo and Fafita didn't go to Tonga? Maybe
Great
not.
question.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did the big push for more resources be put into Samoa and Tonga and Fiji and PNG and all that? Would have that happened without that? And I think Katoa is the next stage of the international game. And that's like a lot of pressure for a kid. So I don't want to, he's 21 years old, but I truly believe he is the last piece of the puzzle that the Polynesian nations or the island nations need to get a win. And granted, I'm not saying Tonga and Samoa are the same. They're not. They are different countries. They're totally different. However, there is a sense of camaraderie to a degree between the nations. Now, saying that, they've got a history that, is actually they've warred quite a lot. But I do think there is some sense of camaraderie there. It's almost like Australia and New Zealand to a degree.
But if you look at on-field as well, like they've both had their huge moments in the last 5 years.
And does one happen with the other? I don't know. Does the Samoan moment happen without the Tonga moment? Maybe, maybe not. What we do know is history, the Taumalolo decision, the Fafita decision, it might have changed the game forever. And now we're at that next stage of development as a game internationally. And it's guys like Katoa coming through. It's guys like Crichton saying, no, I'm playing for Samoa. Yeah. It's guys like Suali'i that go, no, I'm playing for Samoa. To'o, didn't even hesitate. There was no, it's guys like there's word that Hass will play for Samoa. As I said, I'll expand it actually. Samoa or Tonga will win a major trophy in the next 5 years and maybe even 3 years. But I'll say 5 to be safe. But the next 5 years, I think they win a major trophy. I'm
kind of glad that Australia aren't in this Pacific Championship in the lead up to the World Cup next year because I think, firstly, it makes a Pacific Championship. Can you wait for Samoa versus Tonga? That is going to be an absolute banger. So in New Zealand, it's going to be hectic, and then whoever wins, they haven't played Australia, so then it's going to be even more questions heading into that World Cup. International footy is on the up and up, and it's bloody great.
It's so good. It's so good. So. Yeah, Katoa was outstanding and just...
how he changed... it was torrential last night and he still kicked him to death.
Mate, it's just mental. And we're just seeing the start of it. And as I said, so this is Katoa, what he's been able to do. Now imagine the next generation of young Polynesian boys that are coming through and girls that are getting the same opportunity, the same training, that are looking up and their idol is Critter, their idol is To'o, their idol is Katoa. Imagine what they're going to be like.
Crazy.
It's just crazy. And I can't wait because I only want the best playing NRL. I don't care where they're from.
Oh, absolutely.
I want the best playing NRL. That's it, period. And it's just like for so many years, Cleary, he had Joey to look up to. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's a lot of Polynesians that looked up to Joey as well and vice versa. But there is something special for the Polynesian on the island nations that, my people did that. People from where I'm from did that. There is something unique about that. Even from an Australian perspective, when Australia does great, there is a unique connection of my people did that. Look
how Australia got around freaking Tottenham yesterday.
Yeah.
Just because the coaches are Australian.
Just because the coaches are. The Matildas. No one's no one's even watched the Matildas before that. Not no one's, I take that back. Yeah. But it wasn't as big.
Yeah, of course.
They're at home, World Cup. Everyone was watching the Matildas and everyone was proud of what they achieved in that World Cup. It was an incredible ride. And so, it's so good for the game. It is so good for the game. We've got guys like Isaiah Scott. Now, other players. But I'm excited for Tonga. I cannot wait. Yeah. Herbie Farnworth, bro. I've got to say, the Broncos made such a mistake letting him go.
I know.
They should have moved heaven and earth to keep him. And I understand, like, you know, we had a rep level, you know, outside back and the salary cap pressure, whatever. But he has really, truly gone on to just be... And he was great that year too. And look, the Dolphins got in early. I'm not going to deny that they didn't get him before he took this next step into... But they did miss a trick. They should have moved heaven and earth to keep a guy like Herbie because, you know, to be honest, when you look at just like consistency across the board and, you know, how good he's been over the last 3 or 4 years, he's been the best outside back. Like, let's say he was at the Broncos still playing like this, he would have been the best outside back for the last 3 or 4 years, including Reece Walsh. Because Reece Walsh had that incredible season, but then obviously had a bit of a down year last year. Whereas Herbie Farnworth, he's been at this level this whole time. And so they've really, it's look.
Well, Herbie got centre of the year in the Reece Walsh
look,
year.
it's, you know, it is hindsight. I do recall, I think at the time, saying, is there a question that maybe Herbie is kept over other players? But yeah, it does. They definitely should have kept him. Now, but one team's loss is another team's gain because he is just so good.
I was really, really shocked when I thought they'd give him a go at fullback. Now, maybe that whole hospital thing had something to do with that. I don't really know the details around that. I thought they'd give him a go at fullback, but they didn't. They still put him at centre.
I don't mind Averill at fullback.
Oh, same. I just thought they'd give Herbie a go.
See, I actually think Averill is probably more of a fullback. Yeah. I actually think it suits him the best. Doesn't have to defend. He's super quick. Ball playing is actually pretty good. I actually think that's his best position, fullback, Averill.
It was more of a Herbie thing. I just wanted to see Herbie there.
But he would have taken about 50 carries if he was at the back there.
Yeah, but even still, you put him at centre, he still sets up a try, he still scores a try. He scored 6 games in a row now. So much so that they had to move Bronson Sherry from the left to the right just to look after him.
Yeah, crazy.
And he still killed it. So
levels.
He's one of my favourite players.
I thought Molo was really good.
He was great.
Really, really good. I will say, like, look, it's only 2 games, but little bit of a worry, the wet weather footy for the Bulldogs. It seems to just ruin their system. Like, their system is so finely tuned that if the game is even just a slightly bit slower and ball in play slightly less, it just seems to hurt their system dramatically. You look back at the Broncos, what happened? You look at this game against the Dolphins. Granted, it's only 2 games, so that doesn't necessarily mean it's true, but just something to kind of look at. Like, for example, I think there would be Bulldogs fans, if let's say they were about to go into grand final and then the weather said it was going to be torrential rain, I think there'd be Doggies fans going, "Ooh, I don't like that." They definitely suit fast tracks. Yeah. They suit ball in play, fast game of footy.
Yeah, we can only go off what we know so far, and so far they've had 3 horrendous halves of footy, and 2 of them were in the really, really bad rain.
And funnily enough, guess like last year, Penrith Panthers, who go on to win the comp, or it might have been the year before, guess where they lost in torrential rain against the West Tigers?
Yeah, that's right, in Bathurst or something.
And it's a similar situation. I feel like that heavy rain, it just ruins their system they've got, which is ball in play, fast rugby league. Heaps of line speed. It seems to hurt them quite a bit. I thought Harrison Graham was good off the bench. He was quite solid. But yeah, Francis Molo, I thought he was bloody good. And he's been quite good for them since purchase. So once again, I don't think Wolf gets enough credit for how well he's going at the moment. I know they're not, blowing the door down, but they're going pretty well. Kurt Donahue.
Oh, what a tough. Yeah.
We've been such fans of him. And Nicodemus has been quite good for him. So, it's very hard to be too critical of Nicodemus. And his, defence was quite good on the last night. But I don't know. I reckon next year, not this year, but next year, maybe you train him at 6 and just try to, your 6 and 7 is... look, if Nicodemus keeps going the way he's going, then maybe you keep Nicodemus there. But if that is not the case, Donahue with Isaiah Katoa, I don't mind that.
I love it. He's got to be out there somewhere, but I feel like they need to lock him down somewhere because he's a bit all over the place. But seriously, yesterday, and I don't have an athlete bone in my body, so this is probably why I thought this, but when he broke his nose yesterday and came off, possibly concussed, well, obviously not actually, but I thought at the time he was concussed and broken. I couldn't believe he came back on. In that, I was like, what is the point of that? But not only does he come back on, he rips in, he saves a try, he gets rewarded at the end. Like, the respect for him has just gone up so high after last night. That was insane.
So tough. So friggin' tough. And it takes it out. I remember when I broke my nose and I stayed on the field whilst it was still out. And you're just getting through it somehow, some way. Like, and it's not even like it's a hard feeling to explain when that happens because you're kind of like a bit out of it, a bit dazed. For him to be able to do that, it's just...
Because that was a hectic head clash.
Yeah, massive. And he, straightens it back up, gets back out there. It's like this, it's almost like a dinging sound when they straighten back up. It's like,
ugh.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So Dolphins, really good win, and it's just about consistency now. If they can find that consistency week in, week out, they'll challenge for top 8. And the good thing is the comp is so close.
Yeah.
It's so close at the moment that they're in striking distance of the 8.
I want to see him in the top 8 because I just want to see how Katoa is going to go in those finals games. Yeah. I really, really, really want him to make it.
Yeah, absolutely. With the doggies, I actually thought Harry Hayes worked his absolute backside off. 49 tackles, 0 misses, 100 metres. I really like Harry Hayes. Is he an edge back row? Maybe, but I actually want him through the middle. Curran worked his absolute ring off. 60 tackles. Plus 100 metres. Jeez, that's a bloody good off.
Yeah, that's a bloke that was dying to get back onto the field.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, look, nothing to worry about with the Dogs. They're missing so many players. Like, it's been such a big year for them. I loved. So they're in the press conference, and this journo, he throws up a softball for Serraldo. And look, the journo's doing nothing absolutely wrong. Journo's a fair question. But he goes, oh, it's been such a big few weeks for you. It's you're very fatigued. There's been these close matches. And look, as I said, very understandable question from the journo. So he's not doing anything wrong. But I love Serraldo just goes, no, fatigue is not an excuse. And I just like, man, there are so many coaches that would have gone, yep, I'm going to give me that softball. Now I'm going to, you know what? The draw is really tough. And, and kind of like, oh, look, we're not making excuses. But, yeah, the boys have been up over the last. So many coaches do that, whereas he just went, no, fatigue is not an excuse. He said 16 errors is not good enough. And, look, I get it. He's on top of the table, so he has the luxury of being like that. But I just love it. I love that he's, I'm all for protecting players. And I don't like coaches that single out anyone. But at the same time, I don't like the whole, we just need to get back to the drawing board and work really hard and just wasn't our night. Like, I'd rather my coach that I like as the coach of my team say, no, that wasn't good enough. Too many errors. Not this like, kind of tiptoeing around it. Like they say it, but like then they go, we just got to get back and work hard.
I agree. As a fan, I don't want to hear that cookie cutter boring
it's
cliche
just like,
stuff.
No, it wasn't good enough. And 16 errors was not good enough.
Because we all know it.
Like, everyone knows.
Yeah.
And like, you don't have to single anyone out. You don't have to be like, this person was bad, this person was bad. But like, if you lose a game and you have 16 errors, say that is not good enough. And no, I'm not going to excuse it because we had a tight game last week. And so, I like that from Serraldo. I really do. Dolphins,
13 missed tackles last night and 80% with the ball in torrential rain. What a game that they played.
Wow. Now, the Dolphins are reportedly after George Williams. They believe he will partner Katoa. Jeez, that's an interesting
This came out a few days ago.
Yeah, okay. Just before we get into that, guys, make sure, June 7th, I will be down at the Wellness Warriors giving a speech. It is totally free to come down, so make sure to get down, guys. It's really, really a really good. And this is what you get. You get a chat from me, and we'll be hanging out all day. So, and I'll be telling stories that I haven't really told before, and just ways I dealt with it. So it's June 7th, and then also we'll have a speaker from the Australian Men's Mental Health Forum, a speaker from Living. And we all know Living, suicide prevention, one of the best, one of the biggest in the country. Also, speakers from Anytime Fitness talking about health and wellness. Also have someone from Eating Easy, so nutrition, talking about eating right. Outdoors Queensland, E-Safety Commissioner, and also financial management, as well as a doctor speaking as well. So, guys, this is totally free. Make sure you get down, even if it's just to have a yarn with myself. Get down. It's June 7th. It'll be on the Gold Coast. Go to warriorsgathering.com.au. And let your friends know. Even if you want to just come down for a couple hours. And it's not, it might be if you're struggling with your mental health, but also if you're just looking for ways to kind of improve your life. But head to warriorsgathering.com.au. It's an initiative of the Gold Coast United Football Club. The first event will be held on the Gold Coast at the Gold Coast United Football Club, the 7th of June. And so the gathering aims to promote mental health and wellness for men aged 18 and over. It'll feature, as I just mentioned, all these people. So make sure to get down. Make sure to get down because it'll be a really special night. Benny Hannett's going to be there speaking as well. There's a whole different bunch of people. Got a doctor. We got Luke Foster. Really, really good. As I said, even if it's just get down and have a yarn, chill out, make it a big day, guys. We'll have a feed. And just even it's good, men, as they get a bit older, their friend circle tend to shrink, especially if you're working a lot. And so stuff like this is really good to meet like-minded people that you might be, you might hit it off with a mate that you can just chat and yarn to. And I know it's something that a lot of blokes don't like to talk about, feeling lonely and feeling like you can't really talk about men's thing in a men's way, especially in the current society today. Very hard for men to speak openly about their problems without being shouted down. And this is what's good about this. This is for men speaking about their problems and meeting like-minded people. So get down. It's June 7th at the Gold Coast United Football Club. And it's going to be a bloody great day. Bloody great day. I'll be there all day, yarning, all that good stuff. And it's totally free. Totally free. So go to warriorsgathering.com.au to get your ticket. Let's have a bloody good day. Let's have a bloody good day. Now, just quickly.
So the George Williams thing, the report is it's for 2027, so not even for next year, at the time that Nicarina comes off contract.
Don't get it.
Look, there's no concrete quotes or anything. It's just a report at this point. They've also mentioned that also lines up, because he plays for Sam Burgess' team, that lines up for when Perth come in. If Sam Burgess goes to Perth, he could do that.
Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make any sense. I don't. Surely there are other people that you can pair with Katoa. But we'll see. We'll see. Also, guys, I watched something sick the other day. Today. So the Cam Munster, incredible 2020, one of the best Origin performances I've ever seen. Literally. It goes Joey for me, and then it goes Cam Munster 2020, Game 3.
I agree.
Incredible performance. And what makes it even better and even more special, Munster is seen as this larrikin, and he's a larrikin. He's one of the boys and all that kind of good stuff. We love him. But I just found out on Fox League that series was his wife's mother's last series. And that was a big motivator for him to do what he did. And it just adds this extra dimension. As I said, we always see him as this, larrikin or whatever, but he cared so deeply. It meant so much to him, his, wife's mother, that he puts on a performance like that. It just shows you what a moment in history for Origin football. When you actually find out we all thought, it's Mad Dog Munster. He's come off a big premiership win. He's just out there having fun. But the real motivation was his wife's mother. And I just wanted to bring that up. What a special, special story.
I'm as blue as they come, but you sent me that to put in the notes, and I watched it when I was walking up here, and I was bloody moved by it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What a moment to have and what a motivator. And as I said, it just shows you, there's always layers to people. We see him as this larrikin and, he just went out there and he had fun and he killed it. And yet one of the greatest ever Origin performances, for something so special like that. Just love to see it. And I actually I had no idea about that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah.
I had no idea about that. So just hats off to Munster. What a bloody good story.
That series, I know it'll be talked about because of the worst team ever tag forever, but that individual series for Munster, as long as rugby league is played, that's going to be spoken about.
Well, I mean, there's no, people still have Joey as number one, and I would too, but it's with the team Munster did it with.
Yeah.
He essentially did it himself, in regards to not all the hard work. The team were a bunch of battlers. They did the hard work. But when it came to attack, it was all on him. He was creating everything in attack. I'll never forget that double kick that they did and then the kick to the corner.
Yeah, neither will I.
My God. And that's the one thing you're talking about Origin. And the Blues are rightly so big, heavy favourites because they just got a gun side at the moment. But there is that one wildfire or wild card. It is Munster.
And you know what? We're all talking about how he wasn't there last year. He's going to improve in big time. Munster wasn't there either last year.
Yeah.
And when I remember when he went down at Magic Round last year and he said he was out for the Origin series, I was so relieved because he has caused us nightmares.
Yeah.
I remember even in because 2020, I'm pretty sure he didn't even play game 2. He got knocked out He got knocked out in the first 2 minutes or whatever, and Blues pumped him. And that's what makes it even better. That when he was off the field, Blues won by a mile, and then he just come out and towed him up at Suncorp. Unbelievable. He's somewhat like, obviously Harry Grant is probably the person I'm most worried about, but Cam Munster, I'm worried about him.
Mate, he's got to go up there as one of the greatest ever Origin players. Yeah. Like, I know, you've got your Wally Lewises and your Cam Smiths or whatever, but I'd have Cam Munster up there amongst those people when it comes to Origin.
Absolutely.
Like, the stuff he's done at Origin has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I think, and people have short memories, but there was a time around 2021 where I thought that the best 2 Origin players I'd seen in a while are Teddy for the Blues and Munster for Queensland. And I still stand by that. I think that if you take their top 10 games, you get 3 of them that are all Origin games, which is remarkable considering the ratio there. Whenever Munster pulls that Queensland jersey on, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he's done it he's just killed us so many times.
Since his debut as well.
Yeah, that debut was off its head. Just mental. Ridiculous.
Yeah, so hopefully he comes out and kills it because they're going to need it. You look at those squads geez, the Blues looking good. Don't forget, guys, KO Fox League exclusive games in round 12 are Panthers v Knights, Saturdays 5:30, Roosters v Sharks 7:35, and calling all F1 enthusiasts, it's Monaco this week. You got 2024 race or Monegasque, Charles Leclerc win his home GP with our Oscar coming in second. Piastri is in red-hot form at the moment and will be looking to extend his lead in the championship. Tune in to every practice qualifying session and race live on Fox Sports. Races on 11 p.m. Sunday night, Australian Eastern Standard Time. Get on board today. And also, don't forget, go to codesports.com.au/bloke. Use code BLOKE. $49 for the entire year's got. Like, this discount will not be around forever, guys. Make sure to use it while you can, because once it's done, you won't get that kind of discount. And also, what I can guarantee is you will not be disappointed once you sign up. The stories and access you get on Code Sports to every sport, there's no comparison.
I read this crazy one the other day on it's a really sensitive topic, but it was around India and Pakistan in the cricket and how it's all affecting the IPL and stuff. It was incredible. Yeah,
and you can, like that. That's what I mean. You get so many good stories, and there's like, because it is it's paid for, like your $49 for the entire year. The depth that they can go into with the stories that you can't get anywhere else. You can't get that stuff anywhere else. It's so friggin' good. I saw one where like the NRL salary cap auditors can actually seize people's phones. Yeah, which is friggin' cool one. Then I also saw, obviously the player manager one was so interesting. Yeah. But then there was a Terrell May breakdown going like this whole weird knocking how he plays. It just doesn't make sense because they broke down all his numbers and like it just didn't. And also they showed they talked about his charge down against Nico Hines. Like, how Laurie Daly talked about Max King's tackle. They were like, well, what about Terrell May's charge down in like this 85th minute or whatever on Hines? So yeah, there's so many good, and it's not just league guys, it's cricket as well. So codesports.com.au, use code BLOKE. Go to begoodhealth.com.au, grab your Be Good Health, use code DMP for your discount. The best multivitamin in the business. Oh yeah, algo check. What's going on in the algorithm?
I don't know why this is my algo at the moment. I'm not hating it because I haven't looked anything up, but for some reason, all these like Italian travel things.
Oh, really?
I just pumping my algo at the moment. It's making me very jealous, actually. But like
Italy, fuck. Oh, you know why? Because I think right now it gets summer in Italy. Maybe.
Oh, that's
a lot
right.
of people travel to Italy.
Yeah.
So that's probably the reason why.
I'm not hating it because I went for the first time last year and I was only there for a couple of days, but it's just such a special place.
Bro, my algo is rap battles. Joey Badass, Ray Vaughan, Daylight. Who else? Who was Lux as well? So like all of them are dropping like diss tracks, but the good thing is it's diss tracks that are like actual hip hop, because a lot of people think that the Drake Kendrick diss track back and forth, like that's how diss tracks usually go. Who can dig up the most dirt on someone else? But But usually diss track is more about who can use the best wordplay and go back and forth with each other. And the good thing about this one, Ray Vaughan's been a bit aggressive. He's gone across the line quite a bit. But AZ Chike as well, he's come in. And so I've been watching a lot of reviews on the company man in hip-hop, just with the diss tracks back and forth. And the skill set that they show is like, fuck, Jesus. They are modern-day poets. Like, I know, people that don't like rap, you don't understand how hard it is to write. Like, yes, there is the pop rap that you see that's like mumble rap or even just pop rap. Like, yeah, okay, that doesn't take that much skill. It still takes like skill to be able to sound good on a track. But the ones that actually write their lyrics, like they are modern day poets. It is so hard to do. And so all these guys are underground. No, I mean, Joey Badass is not underground. He's in Power. He's an actor in Power.
I knew that name.
Yeah, Joey Badass.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
So he's a gun. He's from the East or New York or whatever. He's going against a lot of West. But then Daylight is an actual professional battle rapper. And there hasn't, like, Joey Badass has essentially been on his own, even though he's the one that called everyone out. And his songs have sounded better, but Daylight's lyrics have been fucking amazing, as they should be, because he's a better lyricist than Joey Badass. But then you've got Ray Vaughan, who's been quite funny in the stuff he said. So that's been my algo this week.
You talk about like skill. Like, one of my favorite things to do is go on YouTube and type in a rap song, say Eminem, whatever, and then like rhyme scheme breakdown.
Yep.
And then it's just the lyrics, but then they highlight what word rhymes with what word. Like, it's not like Dr. Seuss Cat in the Hat shit. It's like how there's like 4 or 5 rhymes per sentence that's just going like bar to bar to bar, and you realize how actually impressive these guys really are.
Oh, absolutely. And like there's ones where like every word is rhyming.
Yeah.
Like every word is rhyming with each other, that you can see the crazy lyricists, the top tier, the shit they do is like genuinely insane.
Yeah.
Genuinely insane. Alrighty, we are done and adjusted. Make sure to grab so June 10th, the maroon jumpers, limited edition, never done these before. The hats, the blue jumpers, the blue hats. That is June 10th, 6 p.m. Set your alarm, guys. Set your alarm. You don't want to miss out on these. We've never done these before, and trust me when I say you can wear them anywhere. They dress up really nicely. You can wear them at home. You can wear them just down the local, shops, or you can wear them with some jeans, and they look really, really good, guys. So make sure to get it June 10th. Set your alarms. Grab some Grumpy Coffee from Grumpy Coffee. Follow us on Grumpy Drinks for all the great content that DJ Grumpy is creating. Don't forget the Warriors Gathering. It's June 7th. Go to warriorsgathering.com.au. It is completely free to join. So if you're near the Gold Coast area, whether it's Brisbane, Northern New South Wales, come down to the Gold Coast at Gold Coast United Rugby League Club. We've got some incredible speakers. You will not regret coming down. Even if it's just for a couple of hours, just come say hey to me or listen to some stories I've got that I could tell you and just talk about mental health and all that good stuff. Make sure to get down. So it's June 7th, Gold Coast United Football Club. Go to the website Warriors Gathering to get the information. And I'm just trying to look now in regards to like when it starts. So yeah, the venue obviously is Coplix Family Sports Park on the Gold Coast. And yeah, go to the website Warriors Gathering to register. It's totally free, guys. Totally free of charge. You don't want to miss it. We'll go and fuck ourselves.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.